Thank you, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, March 25th, 2025, and we are joined here today for the Municipal Financial Recovery Advisory Committee meeting, MFRAC for short. My name is Michael Dowry, and I have the pleasure of serving as receiver for the City of Chester. We are joined here today by, on behalf of the Governor's Office, Mr. Andrew Sheaf, Deputy Director of Department of Community and Economic Development. On behalf of Delaware County Council, Ms. Kelly Diaz, and on behalf of the City of Chester, Mayor Stephon Roots and Councilman Shaquan Davis. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And as always, we're joined on these presentations, these meetings by Chief of Staff to this engagement, Mr. Vijay Kapoor, and Executive Assistant from DCD as well, Mr. Cody Dill. Thank you, gentlemen, for your continued support. We do have a presentation for the committee here today, but before we jump into that, I just wanted to ask if there are any questions of the committee, any points of interest that you would like to address. All right, so before we get into the presentation, Mr. Cody Dill, do we receive any public comment?
Thank you, Receiver. No public comments were received since our last meeting. So as always, we'd just like to encourage the public to reach out to us and send any public comments to the committee. The best way to do so would be through our resource account email address, which is info@chesterreceivership.com. Again, that's info@chesterreceivership.com.
And one thing I want to note is that we continue to receive inquiries to our office, to the Office of Receiver, but there was no public comment received directly for the committee. So just wanted to make that distinction. So without further ado, I will share my screen and jump into today's presentation. Can everyone see my screen okay? All right.
Yes.
Well, today we want to talk about the transition of receiver that was announced last week, but certainly want to bring it before the committee, and the Stormwater Authority of Chester board member salary order that was issued just this past week. Starting with the transition, I must inform the committee that I have accepted the position of Chief Financial Officer of your college, which I will begin effective July 1. My last day serving as receiver will be June 30th, 2025. It's certainly been an honor and pleasure to serve the City of Chester, community at large, and I'm just sad. We described it as bittersweet last week. Certainly don't want to leave, especially with so much more work to be done and just a great team that we have in place here to execute that vision. But then also I am excited to be returning home to work for a solid, stable institution like your college and to contribute in any way that I can to help my home community. On March 13th, 2025, DCED filed a petition with the Commonwealth Court to have Vijay Kapoor replace me as receiver upon my resignation. And just this morning, we just received word that the Commonwealth Court confirmed Mr. Kapoor as receiver upon my resignation effective July 1st, or my last day being June 30th. So, Mr. Kapoor, thank you for your service over the last 5 years. Secondly, for throwing your hat in the ring, and I wish you the best, and I will be here to support you in any way that I can.
I appreciate that, Mr. Receiver. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, the committee.
So continuing on, to our second matter is the litigation update. Litigation update is we want to first inform the courts about the bankruptcy proceedings, and we received notification last week that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has scheduled an oral argument in the CWA matter for May 14th, 2025. Please note that this is just the oral argument. There is no timetable for a decision, as the Supreme Court can move at their will, but oral arguments will be heard in May, and hopefully we hear something by the end of the year. The hearing will take place in the Supreme Court courtroom in the main Capitol in Harrisburg. I believe they're expected to start at 9 a.m. that morning, but there may be another matter before the courts before this case is heard. The arguments are live streamed, audio only, at the PA Supreme Court's YouTube page, which is included in the link below. This presentation, this link, will be available on our website within the next day or so, and we will certainly forward it out to the committee members as well. Because of the interest in this matter, we will continue to provide additional information on hearing the arguments as the date approaches. So in the next 90 days, there are several key initiatives that I would like to address, priorities that I want to continue to move forward. Filling vacancies in key city positions. We did have the retirement of Police Commissioner Gretzky just a month or so ago. So that created a vacancy in the police department. And there also is, we still have not yet filled the Director of Community and Economic Development position. So both of those are key positions that need to be filled here in the very near future. And we look forward to making progress towards settlement there. Outstanding city audits. We are meeting weekly with the auditors to move these forward. Currently, the city is working on its 2021 audit, and the projection is that it will be completed by the end of April. If everything goes well, we will move right into the 22 audit with the goal of completing that in the summer. And hopefully, if again all goes well, we will be working on the 23 audit before the end of this year. An issue arising that's been on the horizon for a while, but is certainly at the forefront of our minds now, is the status of the Chester Crozer Hospital. The bankruptcy proceedings there put the EMS service in jeopardy, and currently Crozer is providing EMS service to 55% of Delaware County, including the city of Chester, without charge to the municipalities. So Fire Commissioner Shirley is working alongside Delaware County officials and Dr. Motley of the city of Chester to engage surrounding municipalities to try to develop a regional solution to this problem, as it is a shared problem that isn't respective, if you will, municipal boundaries. So hopefully we can come together to figure out a solution here, achieve economies of scale, and work together to provide the service without interruption to the residents of Delaware County as a whole. So much more work needs to be done here. Hopefully we can see resolution of this matter within the next 90 days. And then there's the Stormwater Authority of Chester, which is where I want to spend the bulk of this presentation. Concerns with SAC, cross governance, operations, and rates and finance, of course, for the residents have been longstanding. In May 2024, we made a presentation at an MFRAC meeting about the issues. In those two MFRAC meetings, we covered analysis that showed that certain SAC board members were receiving salary payments that were not authorized by the Chester City Council. The SAC board has been aware of the unauthorized board member salary payments for months and to date has not taken any action. So why are we concerned? As a part of the bankruptcy process, the receiver, my office, needs to propose a plan of adjustment that the bankruptcy court can confirm. To that end, we are considering and evaluating all city assets and property interests. SAC can be reacquired by the city. It is a city asset, and we have an interest and a duty to ensure that it is financially and operationally sound. The city of Chester's taxpayers are already heavily taxed, and SAC rates increase this burden as they are among the highest in the Commonwealth and possibly in the country. It is unclear whether SAC took into account the proper guidelines under the MAA, which is the Municipal Authorities Act, when it raised rates effective October 23rd. These events have raised serious concerns about SAC's financial condition and governance. As a reminder, there were several incidents that we want to remind you of. Reviewing the minutes from the SAT board meeting of October 10th, the authority reported loans totaling $40,000 from the executive manager at that time in his church to make payroll. The loans and how they were procured potentially violated the Municipal Authorities Act procedures on debt incurrence. Further, 11 days later, the authority raised stormwater fees to an amount nearly double the rates charged in 2017 when it first started. This rate adjustment resulted in Chester's ratepayers paying among the highest stormwater rates in Pennsylvania, and again throughout the country. And as we noted earlier, it is unclear whether SAC took into account the proper guidelines under the MMA when it raised its rates. Continuing on with these concerns, we also have board governance concerns. Currently, 2 Chester City Council members and the City Controller sit on the SAC board as compensated board members, which, according to the City Solicitor, violates the City Charter. And I want to bring emphasis to that point. The current City Solicitor has advised the Mayor and Council that 2 members of City Council and the City Controller are in violation of the city's own home rule charter regarding elected officials serving on compensated boards. Its own articles of incorporation. Further, it is also violating the articles of incorporation regarding the number of board members. The articles of incorporation enumerated that there should be a 5-member board for the SAC, but is currently operating with 9 board members. So you have nearly double the amount of board members, and they're receiving salaries that were not authorized. So let's walk through this timeline. The Articles of Incorporation submitted in October of 2016 called for 5 board members. And there you have in this second column here, the 5 names that were appointed as of October 28th, 2016. The members changed 4 months later. In 2017, the only replacement being Council Member West replacing Ms. Griffin. And then we fast forward to August of 2020. The authority unilaterally added 2 additional board members. And you'll see their names here at the bottom: Councilperson Green and City Controller Joy Taylor. And then towards the end of 23, November of 23, the authority again took additional action to appoint 2 more board members to the authority. These 2 positions were actually added by council, but council did not authorize the additional salaries for the additional board members. The asterisk next to Councilwoman West and Taylor is because of the resignations that were submitted in early 2024. But as we sit here today, both members continue to serve in that capacity. Continuing on with the concerns. Certain board members, as we've mentioned, are receiving unauthorized salaries. Second bullet here is, though, that a nonprofit controlled by then SEC Executive Manager Strand was gifted a $400,000 building from an entity with ties to Corvius Infrastructure Solutions. Corvius receives millions of dollars for SEC projects during Strand's tenure, and to our knowledge, continues to serve as a partner with the authority. So to try to break this down into simpler terms, you have a third party that is receiving millions of dollars of payments from the authority, and then it gives what may be described by some as a gift, others may describe it as a kickback. But we're still trying to figure out why the Corvius would donate a building worth $400,000 to an entity controlled by the executive manager Strand. Since Since our depositions at the end of 2024, Manager Strand retired, but his exit comes as the agency faces scrutiny from our office. And as the link here for an article by WHYY, you can read that for further details or an explanation. So, why are we here today? And why did I take the action of it that I did last week? Since May of 2024 through now March of 2025, the board has been completely unwilling to address these issues. And mind you that the opinion of the city solicitor predates May 2024. As further evidence of their unwillingness to act, the following is an excerpt from the depositions between city's outside counsel, Patrick Harvey, and the authority chair, Livia Smith, during depositions in October of 2024. Attorney Harvey asked, as chair of the board, are you comfortable with Dr. Strand receiving a $400,000 donation from the vendor that Dr. Strand supervises? Chairwoman Smith responded, as an individual, I am comfortable with that. Attorney Harvey then asked, and did the board currently order any kind of investigation of this issue? Chairwoman Smith, no. So clearly, the board is unwilling to take any action to address the potential conflict here and achieve better governance. So on March 18th, just last week, I issued an order to the board chair, Smith, SAC Solicitor Steve Hahn, and current executive manager Bruce Connor Jr. for the authority to immediately stop making payments to the following individuals. And they are Susan Dennis, John Shelton, former City Council member Elizabeth Williams, current City Council member Fred Green, City Council member Portia West, and City Controller Joy Taylor. For reference to why these payments are unauthorized, the Municipal Authorities Act, Section 5610D, 5610D, provides that board members shall receive such salaries as may be determined by the governing body of the municipality. In this case, the governing body of the municipality is the Chester City Council. However, there is no evidence that the Chester City Council ever approved or established salaries for SAC board members. And this dates back to 2016 through now. Over the last 10 years, this Chester City Council never approved or established salaries for SAC board members. The solicitor's office searched all city council minutes and did not find any board member salary authorization. Additionally, through the bankruptcy process, I have requested that SAC provide any such documentation, and to date, they have not. I want to note that Councilperson West's salary, ordered that to be ceased because her term expired on October 28, 2024. While the Municipal Authorities Act provides that a board member may stay on until replaced, the SAC's Article of Incorporation only authorized 5 board members, and SAC is currently operating with 9. So if Ms. West has not been reappointed by the city to serve on SAC, there is no authority for her to be receiving salary payments. Additionally, the city solicitor has stated that Chester's Home Rule Charter prohibits city elected officials from serving on paid boards. So this order only applies to stopping current and future salary payments. I will note, though, that I reserve the right to seek recoupment of unauthorized salary payments made to the listed individuals or unauthorized payments made to other individuals. This page here, while probably hard to read to screen or see on your screen, this is a copy of the order that was issued last week, and again will be available through our website and as a page in this presentation. Next step. I am bringing this matter before the committee here to discuss this in the event that I need to take further legal action to enforce my order. At my discretion, council has requested from SAC copies of any directors and officials liability policies, fiduciary liability policies, errors and omissions policies, and employee theft or fidelity policies that identify SAC, its board, officers, or employees as named insured. It's my hope that it does not come to that, but we certainly will need to take action here soon. So that concludes the presentation. I will ask, are there any questions from the committee members? Hearing none, I will ask that VJ, Mr. Kapoor, excuse me, are there any comments that you would like to make?
But just Mr. Receiver, I think you restated it, but the board members that were appointed to SAC, my understanding that they were appointed by the city council at the time. But again, as you noted earlier, the articles of incorporation only enumerate 5. There are 9, and the articles of incorporation have a very specific process for how they would be amended, and they were clearly not amended.
Thank you for that. I believe I did misspeak at the beginning. You are absolutely correct that action was taken by city council, not just by the SAC board under the previous administration.
However, as you noted, that only had to do with appointing the board members. There is no evidence of any city council authorization of board member salaries.
Well, hearing none, no further questions, we will reconvene for our regularly scheduled INFRAC meeting the second Tuesday in April and continue our regular schedule from there. If anyone would like to meet with our office, as Mr. Dale shared earlier, please feel to reach out. And if there are any comments for the committee directly, please indicate as such, and we will pass that on to the committee. I want to thank everyone for gathering here today for today's meeting. Meeting adjourned.